going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rallet, and today I'm going to be taking a look at what some other possible evolutions could be for Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. We already did a video, which you guys can check out right here. It's a video about what some of the possible ones could be, some of the designs that I thought of, together with a designer of what we could see. But next, I want to take a look at some designs made by other people, some other designers who've thought of ideas of what the evolutions could look like for these Pokemon. So, if you are ready, then sit back, relax, grab yourself a beverage, and of course, as per usual, here's the comment of the day, and of course, our new question of today, which is, if you could pick an animal to become a brand new Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet, which one would it be? Let us know, and let's get into it. Starting things off, we have a design by Cinderil, who basically created what he would assume a sort of evolution would be for Sprigatito. Now, in this case, he went for a full-on saber-tooth design. He called this one Smilthorn, and essentially, I guess it would be a grass rock type. And as for its base, he used essentially what as far as I can tell, he went for the Iberian Lynx design, which we already know is what Sprigatito most likely could be based on. He went with that, as well as sort of an ancient saber-tooth of sorts. Now, I do not know the actual schematics of if saber-tooths existed within Spain and even in Europe, in specifically that part of the world, at that time back in the past. I don't really know. I don't know if there's any proof of that, but it's besides the point. What I want to talk about is that this thing actually is really cool. Just a cool design because, number one, it keeps Sprigatito on all fours. We don't go for that weird shit where they make it a bipedal Pokemon that stands on two and just looks humanoid, which I don't know what their obsession is with that, but at least with this one, we keep it on the ground. And I do like the grass rock typing. It does make sense if, you know, it is based on a Sabertooth, which most of the, I guess, if you want to call them, I guess, sort of ancient type Pokemon do have the rock typing because it makes sense with fossils, etc. So, in my personal opinion, I think Cinderil put together a really cool idea for what it could look like. Now, realistically, they're not going to go for this. They just seem to not like putting Pokemon on all fours and just love making them humanoid for whatever reason. I don't know, ever since, like, I guess Generation 5, it's been that way. It's kind of frustrating, but let's just hope that maybe this time around they actually decide to stick with this, because I would prefer this as a design. If this is what it looks like, if it even is close to what this looks like, I will be picking Sprigatito. Otherwise, I'm staying away from it, but I love this design though. Next is another design for Sprigatito. This one is by R. James, specifically over on Instagram, who put together what he would assume it could turn into. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, this is probably what it's going to look like. Let's be honest here. This is what Sprigatito most likely will evolve into. A humanoid-looking, female-styled Pokemon that's going to be on two legs, and it's going to have hands, because let's just get rid of paws. Paws are just not accepted, apparently, in Pokemon, for whatever reason. Either way, this is his, like, evolution prediction, called Salvelina, which is a grass psychic type, which is actually a pretty interesting combo, but it does remind me a bit of, I guess, Fennekin's final stage evolution, Delphox, kind of like that, looks a little bit along that side, but he describes it as an alluring feline dancer that captivates and grabs the attention of anyone, with a gigantic grape leaf flowing around. Salvelina gives off an aroma that makes anyone near it drunk and or tipsy. The name is a combination of three words: salvaje, which is feral, vino, which is wine, well, yeah, basically just that, and feline, which is, well, felina, I guess, in this case, which is just I guess just a cat, more or less. Nothing really else you can say about it. I mean, it's in the name, it's in the face, you can see it. The design, I'm fine with it. I'm not gonna lie, I like this design. I think R. James makes some of the best fan art you will see when it comes to Pokemon, but it's just my personal opinion that we should stay away from anything bipedal, but realistically, we're gonna get something like this. And if we're gonna get anything like even remotely like this, I want it to look just like this and be based on this, because at least then they're using interesting and fun historical, mythological, as well as, I guess more in this case, folklore, right? And like the general, like, cultural things that exist within Spain and Portugal and the Latin American countries, right? They're kind of using more of that type of deal going on here, which I would prefer a lot more. So, what are you guys' thoughts? What do you think about this? And do you think the first design or the second design for Sprigatito is more likely? Next, we have a design by Trainer Matt, and this one is for our good old friend Quaxley. So he put on a design here that I think most people are assuming we're gonna get. He calls this one Quackador, which is a fun name, and it's a water fighting type, which you can kind of see a little bit with the longer wingspan on the actual, like, bird, I guess, in this case, as well as the big legs, which can definitely do some kicking, I'm guessing, in this case. anyways. But he says his prediction is on Quaxley evolving into a water fighting type, where he mixes the words quack as well as matador, which is against basically the guys who deal with the whole like bullfighting things, the guys with the red thing. You guys know, the just kind of stereotypical matador, right? That's sort of what he's basing it on. You can kind of see it in the design, which actually is a bit of a deviation from most people designs, because most people assume it's going to have more of a kind of sailor slash like traveler type of design to it, or pirate almost. That's what more people seem to be aiming for, and that's what most seem to assume we're going to get in terms of design. Even I think that's most likely to happen. But if they went for a matador design, I wouldn't mind it personally. I think it would be pretty interesting. Now, of course, there is some, you know, cultural sensitivity type things there, but honestly, has that ever stopped Pokemon? Let's be honest, not really. So, I mean, I'm surprised they didn't just add a straight-up baguette Pokemon in Kalos, because why not? You know, they're just a Pokemon company. They do whatever they want. But nonetheless, let's move on to the next thing. Next is a design by the OneParty, and he apparently fell in love with Quaxley and the design of it. So here is what he went for: a duck vessel pirate with compressed air cannons. And this is cool because he made the mid-stage evolution as well as the final stage evolution. Now for the mid-stage, he literally makes it into a little like pirate, like with a little extra pirate hat, gives it even a gun finger to like shoot things and just shoot like little hydro pumps out of it and just water guns and whatnot, which is pretty cool. It does play with that ID we already saw last, you know, generation with I guess Inteleon and whatnot, using kind of its fingers as like essentially pistols, which I guess is a good way to get away from like making the game above age 8 for children to play, but that's besides the point. Next up though is a final stage evolution, which does have like a bit of a cross in the back, which I don't think they would go for. I don't think they would add anything that would in any way emanate or really emulate any form of religious connection. Now, I don't know if this specific cross here would have any religious meaning, but if it does, which maybe in their heads it would, they wouldn't probably include it. But nonetheless, it's a freaking cool design. I think this one looks sick. I do like the like claws he includes, like just the claws that makes it look more feral and crazy and ready to like go into battle. As for what like sort of typing he would go for, I haven't really seen him include anything, but he just talks about, using air and water pressure, you know, compressing the two to shoot out like just these incredible powerful shots, which I think would be sick. And just in general, man, this design is so cool and unique. And yes, it does use that pirate theme, which I already mentioned a lot of people are going for, but it at least does a little bit of different with it. It innovates a bit on that actual concept and design and does at least something different with it. So personally, Trainer Mats, I think you did a great freaking job with this one, man. I love it. It actually might be one of my favorite Quaxley like evolution predictions I've seen so far. And next is actually another design by our boy Trainer Mats. This one is for none else than Foco. He made Crocofera, which is, in this case, a big chunky boy. Now, the way he talks about it is that he sort of just went for like a design that would more or less emulate kind of, I guess, that kind of crocodile feeling, but still keeping the chunkiness, because I'm assuming that Foco might either go full-on chunky or become a slim Pokemon, because they've done it a few times, but I'm assuming that it's going to stay more thick in design, and this kind of remains with that like thick body in the front with the weird like yellow patches here and there that it has, and of course emanating out some ghostly like flames from its body, which makes sense because there is this whole prediction that it's going to be based on more or less a sort of ghost like that exists within, or like actually a boogeyman of sorts, which is like Coco, which is kind of in Spanish myth, and I think even in like mostly in Latin myth in general, but yeah, it's kind of exists there, even in Portuguese myth. And most people are assuming that the ghost typing might be added. However, he went for an interesting take here. He went for like the name with Croco, which is crocodile, and Cucafera, which is an Iberian dragon that also is represented with a crocodile head, which is interesting. Of course, there are no crocodiles within Spain itself or Portugal, but this design does take like inspiration from different areas of, I guess, you know, Latin culture, Spanish culture, Portuguese culture, etc., and uses it all kind of in a mix. So what do you guys think about this one? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Would you want something like this, or would you want something slightly different? Let us know in the comments down below. And the final design is by Cinderil, again, one of the first ones we showed at the start of the video, but this is Miss Slipper, the hyper speed Pokemon. I'm not sure if I'm actually saying it correctly, Missilliper, but it is a fire flying type, and this is what he predicts possibly could happen with Foco, making it into a straight up snake, which he says here it loses its arms and its legs, earning a hyper like aerodynamic body, right, making it faster, which I think could be possible. The way you look at Foco and its tail, just the way it's shaped and everything, does give me this feeling that it could end up losing its chunky legs and its body might like shrink a bit to make it more like lean and fast, and actually making it into a pretty quick Pokemon, which I think would be really cool. I think it would be an interesting take on the just in general this Pokemon, because right now it just feels like it's going to turn into a chunky boy, but I would love if it turned into a snake. And if it turns into a snake, then I guess the whole theory of it, you know, kind of being based like on like the fire starters being based on the Chinese zodiacs can still remain and can still be a prevalent thing. But yeah, you can see here it flies thanks to the flames it shoots from its head and the end of its tail, and that's the way it kind of moves forward as fast as possible. Personally, I think this one looks sick. I really want them to make a snake out of it, but they're not going to do that, are they? Like, we're never going to get a fire snake, are we? But nonetheless, that are the predictions for now, ladies and gents. That's going to be it for the video. If you did enjoy, drop a like down below, answer our question of today. And of course, if you want to see another part of us taking a look at some possible evolutions, then leave a like down below. Let's get to 1,000 likes. Thank you for watching. My name is Scarlet. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.